This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It is an honor to have you here. Well, bright and early, 6:30, I headed out fishing this morning. I like to go early before the average fishing people come out and maybe see me fishing at a given spot, because the best fishing hole is one that no one else knows about, and you try to keep it that way. At the same time, you don't overfish it. You just catch one or two and you stop for the day. You don't push it or they'll scare them out of that area, out of that hole, be that as it may. So this morning I was there for about 15 minutes and I caught a nice little 1.5 pound catfish, my first of the year. Wasn't very long though that I caught a 4 pound catfish. Now I'm telling you, that was a fight. He put up one heck of a tussle on my kid's reel, absolutely. But it was a lot of fun. Got him in, got a quick picture or two, and then I turned him loose. Without question, I don't keep any fish that I catch. Again, fishing for me is to lower my blood pressure on this side of the day after. On the other side, all bets are off if I have to feed my family. After that, though, then I headed out and went over to that great big gun auction that I've talked about. 750 guns that guy owned. And the tables were probably 150 feet, each table 150 feet, loaded down with ammunition. One of the bigger gun auctions I've ever seen in my life, if not the biggest. And more importantly, I had to park 3 blocks away just to be able to get in there. And conservatively, there was close to 1,000 people, if I was guessing how many people were at that auction. Not counting before the auction, they had online bidding already started, and 20,000 online bids had already been made on that 750 guns and the ammunition. Absolutely. This is a staggering auction, to say. I was shocked at it, and I think most of the other people were too. And that stadium, the old city auditorium as we call it, it was packed, standing room only. Yeah. So I got that done. But you're here for a story, so I got a few. Last weekend was Mother's Day, so I took the wife up to North Platte, about 67 miles as the crow flies. She wanted to go up there and do a little shopping. But we stopped and ate at Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's the closest one to us around these parts of the country. And an excellent meal we had. And then I went to the mall, she went inside, and I just sat out in the car like I usually do and let her shop to her heart's content. And I just, watched the people. All of a sudden, behind me, maybe 20 minutes later, I heard scream and then crying. And I opened the door and looked out, and here a woman was laying on the ground. And a toddler, maybe a 2-year-old, was on the ground too. She had apparently been carrying him. And down they had went, and there was a sheet of pasteboard there, and she slipped as she was walking across the driveway or the parking lot, and down she went with that kid. Just punk and rolled them both and skinned them both up real good. And she said she just wasn't watching what she was doing, or she'd have walked around it. And needless to say, pasteboard on cement is just like stepping on ice at times. And so that was a good education for her. And if you can learn from someone else's mistake, it's even better for you. But it didn't end there. And I got back in the car and I told myself, well, at least that don't happen very often, that type of thing. A van, 2 vans, or 2 rigs up in a van, a minivan, facing us, it was, into each other on a given line. And it was over here, and a woman with like a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old boy, and then 2 kids in the shopping cart, a toddler and an infant. And she had stuff in there as well, supplies, whatever she had purchased. And so she came up to the minivan. The first thing she did was get that 2-year-old out, because he was the testy one. Got him in his car seat, and as she did though, the 6-year-old boy was trying to push the cart around in a circle, for whatever given reason a 6-year-old may have. And the wheel hit just right, and it tipped the cart over, and out punk and rolled that infant, probably 6 months old if that. Got skinned up and banged up pretty good. And so I got out again and went over and tried to help what little help I could. The baby was crying. That's a good thing rather than being unconscious. But I said, you better watch that real careful with the baby. You know, if he decides to go to sleep, I said, I'd keep him awake. You know, watch for concussions or anything else. And she said she would. She said, I think he'll be fine. But again, she had so many kids. Parents kind of get that mindset, oh, he'll be fine, you know. Okay. Be that as it may, things happen all over the world, and sometimes it's right around where you are, or perhaps it's your own foolishness or lack of common sense, or just not being careful when you really need to be. Because this whole world is a jungle. I said it's a jungle. It may be civilized, but it's a jungle, and a lot of people get hurt every year. Don't be one of them.